about some of the things we did growing up that, man, I don't want our children or the next generation or the generation after that to experience. Using foresight or that around the being vision, what would you share with the next generation that you would want them to be aware of, i.e. look both ways before you cross the street?
You know, I'm going to say this. The one thing that I would share with them, and this goes back to something that I learned, is that anything worth having is worth working for. So if it comes too easy, then maybe it's not good for you. But if you work a little hard, then you'll learn to appreciate it. If you work hard for it, then you'll have a sense of pride when you accomplish that thing. But if something's just given to you, then you really don't appreciate it or value it as much. So I want to teach my children the value of hard work, and the value of taking pride in who you are and what you have worked for.
So let me give you a little bit of pushback, Sylvester, real quick.
Okay.
Your kids see other kids not working hard, but still getting they fair share or lion's share, actually.
Mm-hmm.
How do you explain that to your kids? Like, Daddy, they didn't work hard, but look what they got.
Yeah, and we often, and I'm glad you pushed back on that, because
I agree with you. Don't agree. I agree with you, but I'm just saying that's what we wrestle with, right?
Absolutely.
In this instant gratification, like, hold up, player. They not working hard. You tell your kids to go study. Mm-hmm. Why? They look at like, why I need to study, right? I could just cheat, you know?
Exactly. And we often say, my wife and I say to our own children, is to say, you know what? It's all going to catch up with them. And here's the thing. The work that you put in today prepares you for tomorrow. You put in this work at this stage, it prepares you for the next stage in your life. And what you don't want to do is get to the next stage in your life and not be prepared for it.
I got you. Come on, Willie, your turn, man. Jump in.
Oh, God. Well, it's like Aunt Becky paid to get her kid into college.
On a rowing scholarship.
Exactly. And could her child compete against the other children that were going to that college? Probably not. Probably dumb as a door now, but you don't know, you know.
You really.
And what was her understanding?
No, I think she actually knew her daughter didn't have the chops or the regimen to get into a quality school like the one she was trying to go into. I think she knew.
Is she paying for it?
Of course. But they have been paying for things for years, cutting corners and making things easier because they had the financial wherewithal to do something. You know, I'm going to mess with y'all for a minute because there was something about us, and it was rather funny that I sent y'all a picture of all of us who had been hanging out since we was little bitty kids and ended up being grown men in that picture. And I didn't send you the one where we stood with each other at weddings and we had the awesome privilege of toting our brother, you know, on his going home and speaking over his life about what it meant to us, that there was something else going on here. And let me help y'all out. There is something, y'all. There's the strength of feeling one person can have for another that just really comes through. It doesn't need an explanation. That person who is loved just knows it. And over time, they probably develop quite an accurate sense for why it is they are loved as much as they are. You see, we never told each other. And to this day, we don't walk around talking about how much we love one another and this, that, and the third. But there was something about the depth of our understanding that took us from whether I was doing right or wrong, y'all. I really want y'all to catch this. It had nothing to do with right or wrong. It had something to do with love. See, we weren't friends based off of some other outside thought or thing, right? It was never about who had money or who didn't. It wasn't about who was smart and who was dumb. It wasn't about who was an athlete and who wasn't. It was simply put that we have been together so long that we accepted each other where we were, loved each other where we were, because it was just real and it was unspoken, and that which is understood don't need to be spoken. It doesn't matter whether you became a junkie or alcoholic. The love was still there. And what I'm really trying to get at, it didn't have any other connotation added to it, right? It wasn't love because somebody wanted to just love me. It was love that was unconditional. And that's what I really want to try to get across. How do we love the next generation unconditionally? Literally almost looking past what they're doing because you see them further than the stuff they're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at your children, sometimes your children can frustrate you to no ends because they're yours and you want the best of them and you don't want them to go through the struggles that you went through, but some of them gonna go through struggles. The question is, do you see them beyond their struggle?
Yeah.
Do you see them beyond what they're doing right now? Do you see them beyond? And somehow our elders had the ability to look beyond our now to see us older.
Yeah, the old school saints, the sisters in the church used to say, "I'm gonna love the hell out of you."
Mm-hmm.
Come on. And so I really want us to get to the point where we quit allowing, because this is what happened to us in school too, right? When we got to high school, some of us were knuckleheads, some of us wasn't. If you was a knucklehead, they didn't offer you a job to have service and work in the office. You was a C student, so they didn't offer you opportunities for growth and acceleration. No, they gave that to the kids who already had a path to lead the community. And so they left the kids who they didn't think was going to make it right where they were because of what they were doing, because they couldn't see us beyond our now. They couldn't see us beyond this. They couldn't see that one day we would get some sense, and one day we would find a woman who would love us, love all of our crazy self, and we would have children, and that our children don't act nothing like our crazy self used to. They don't see.
But check. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
Go ahead, bro. Come on.
But no, see, our elders, they would flip the script, right? Like Mr. Tardy, man, he knew I was high, but he still let me hang out in the class, man. In the calculus class. No, man, I'm blew out. You know what I'm saying? No, just like I'm just, man, off the chain. But he was like, "Well, man, go in there and sit down." You know what I'm saying? And if you knew Mr. Tardy, he would teach book knowledge, but then he would give you that street knowledge, right? And then later on, man, when I was about to graduate from undergrad, I ran into him and he's like, "What you doing, Woback?" I was like, "I'm about to graduate from school." "What school let you get a degree?" And then he's like, "I knew you always could do it." You see what I'm saying? So that's what you're talking about, Patrick.
There you go. And that's really, again, one of those things that's really common in the hood, right? In the 48545 is that people knew, as Patrick's family members said, they knew you was better than the stuff you was doing. Right, and they loved you enough to let you get it out your system, and that's the thing. You got to make sure that you care about people enough to say, you know what, I'm not loving you because of, I'm loving you in spite of.
Come on.
Yeah, allow people to make mistakes, and don't hold it over their head. Everybody make mistakes. Ain't nobody perfect, so just let them be and figure their own way.
Right.
But go ahead.
Come on, Sylvester.
I think the other thing that we have to remember, and again, this is one of the things that our elders did a much better job at than we do, is that they understood that when you were young, you did childish things. But when you were older, there was an expectation that you would conduct yourself differently, right? And so our elders didn't expect They didn't expect kids to conduct themselves as adults. That's why they told you to be at home when the street light comes on. Because they knew that you didn't have the wherewithal or the insight or the knowledge to be out there in the streets when adult things were happening because you were a kid. And that's one of the things that really bothers me now, is that in so many cases, we expect more from kids than we expect from adults.
Man, that's deep. I remember one of my good friends told me, he told his kids when they got old enough, he told them they didn't have a curfew, but his car did.
There you go.
Y'all come on when you want to, but my car gonna be here by midnight.
Mm-hmm.
And so you begin to see that. And so a lot of times, think about this, Sylvester, we know what these kids are facing. We know what they're dealing